from the podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. It's Grant's Rants Small Talk. Real Housewives of New York City Rundown.
Let the ranting begin, and welcome back to the Real Housewives of New York City Rundown. I'm joined once again by Catherine Jones. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no, this is good. This episode, season 12, episode 10, picks right up where we left off. So it makes sense to have the same perspective, the same guest co-host, if you will, to go into this one. So thank you.
Of course. This is so fun. Thanks for having me.
We're picking up at the Black Pearl, which is, one of those landmarks in Newport. But again, similar, what we were saying in the previous episode, I've kind of always been underage with my family, so I can't say I have any stories about this location, but it was very New England.
Very New England.
Yes. Leah has to explain to Elise that she had to let it all out the night before at that clam bake dinner, and that it was very cathartic for her. I don't know why people have to explain anything to Elise. I just don't know why.
This is why I love you, because you will say, I don't know why anyone has to explain anything to Elise. That should be like an anthem for life. Why do we have to explain anything to Elise? Get the hell out.
Yeah, none of them are in the position to play judge and jury. None of them remember any of the times that they were blackout drunk. So why does Leah have to be held accountable for everything she said and did the night before? It's such a double standard. Yeah, by a friend of. Oh, this is turning into Beverly Hills Housewives. None of the real cast does anything, so they have to rely on the one person who does not on payroll. But
she's Faye Resnick light.
Oh God! Even I was being respectful and thinking about Sutton, but not that I'm watching Beverly Hills. But that's another story for another day. Sarah finally arrives. They sit down at lunch, and Sonia is literally rolling her eyes as Sarah walks in. And Luann says, "Oh, she does look older." Ooh,
that was so rude.
So mean.
Yeah.
I don't meeting who? Does Leah look older in comparison to her sister? Does the sister look older than Leah? What difference does it make?
Also, she's 6 years younger than Leah, I think.
That's such a, I know plenty of women who behave that way back home, though. It's just they have to they have to make a comment on the appearance, no matter what. Sarah, they've never even shook her hand. They have had zero conversations with the woman. But yep, the first impression is she looks old. Well, isn't that nice?
Oh my God. It was horrible. These women, jeez.
Sarah, I actually think she's really cool. She's from Williamsburg. She's
beautiful too.
Yeah, I still say she's like Leah with a wig. She's from Williamsburg, so that's cool. I was all about it. I said, all right. Dorinda was instantly impressed.
Well, I was going to mention that to you. Has Dorinda never been to Williamsburg?
It doesn't sound like if she's looking to book a hotel room.
Yeah, and does Dorinda also just sit at home and watch New York 1? Because that's really sad.
I feel like she never gets out of the Upper East Side. Or wherever she is.
Yeah.
Is she in the Upper West now? No, because she's in Sutton Place.
She's in, yeah.
Yeah.
But when she said, I saw they have great macaroons, I saw it on New York 1 or whatever. New York 1 is great, by the way, but I'm just picturing Dorinda going out for a morning cigarette. This is total fan fiction in my mind. She goes out for a cigarette and then just sits and watches New York 1 until she takes her nap, maybe does a workout video or something. And she's never been to Williamsburg. It's dumbfounding.
I think she's a TV viewer. I think she's someone that their life revolves around TV, and then they fill in between with social stuff, which isn't all of us right now.
Yeah, and she's got to update that OnlyFans. So
Oh God, she's still on OnlyFans. What is she possibly putting out that's worth watching? That's worth paying for exclusively. I'm good. When I see the reality shows, I'm good. I really don't want to know anything more. Really, the only person I want to know more of is Lindsay and Dina Lohan. That's really the only person I want, and Brittany, obviously. That's it. Everyone else, I'm good. I see them once a week for an hour. I don't need to pay for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Tinsley apparently made out with her sister 10 years ago.
Oh, yes. This disturbed me.
Now, you have a sister, correct? You mentioned this.
Yes. As I mentioned, I have a sister very close in age, and I did text her after because she's a fan too. And I said, Christina, I'm really glad we've never made out with each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. That's another thing you don't have in common with Tinsley Mortimer. I'm sorry to tell you.
We need to know more about the story because at first she said, oh, yeah, I was like 10. And Leah goes, like 10 years old or 10. And Tinsley goes 10 years ago. I mean, they were adult women. Like, what in the world? Did you just start making out with your sister at a bar? Like,
weird.
We need the backstory. But that's so New York where they don't even touch on that Tinsley says that she made out with her adult sister.
Yeah. No, this would be discussed at length in another city, especially if it was on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Dorinda's been drinking all day. She's slurring her words walking into Lou's beautiful bungalow. And she said that she talked to John. She feels a lot of guilt around that conversation. Even just the fact that he's no longer part of her life and all of that. I mean, Dorinda, you got to trust your gut on this. I think you did the right thing. Definitely. Yeah, we don't need John. Dorinda wants, did you catch this? She wanted the wine open, and then she calls Lou a horrible hostess. Luann gets up with the bottle and then walks right back and puts it down and doesn't open it.
That was interesting because I also thought that was kind of a good friend move. Like, I'm not giving you more alcohol. You've been drinking all day.
Okay, so she made it look like she made an effort and then was like, we're not going to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that she didn't want to. Dorinda was clearly intoxicated. And I don't think she wanted to give her friend more booze.
Smart.
Which I thought was smart because she didn't say, and I think she knows, I mean, a la Cartagena, when we don't want that again. So I think instead of being like, no, we're not going to drink, she was like, okay, let me get it. And she knew Dorinda would forget. And they were probably getting an Uber in 5 minutes anyway.
Right. Yeah, they go to this Clark Cook house, which I have no idea what this is. I should have called my dad. He probably knows the day it was erected. It's also known as the Candy Store, which I was like, what? There was nothing in there. It was like a regular, to me, like a very informal restaurant by the shore. I don't know what they were talking about, like how they had to dress for it. It was not a fancy spot. Most of those places are not. It's just not the vibe in Newport. It really is this. Maybe if you're going to a hotel restaurant, but most of that stuff.
It's very casual.
Very. It's like, you're having seafood. You're putting on, like the lobster bib. Like it smells of fish. Like that's just what it is. I mean, that's just how it goes. That's the vibe. They're sitting at director's chairs at a table, which I thought was an interesting aesthetic. Everybody immediately disperses. Ramona ascends the staircase to wander around. And did you catch there was a table full of women next to the staircase? They clearly were fans and were bugging out watching Ramona independently walk up the staircase.
Oh my God, I did not see that.
I loved that.
I did catch that Ramona she was like, where's the bar? Because she always has to scope out the restaurant.
Right.
And Tinsley was like, the bar's down here. And then she goes, where's the bathroom? And Tinsley goes downstairs. And then Ramona heads upstairs to go see the bar on the second story. So she clearly just wanted to totally just own it, scope the place out.
Well, she was manhunting. Yes, that's all she was doing.
Yeah.
I will say, I growing up in Rhode Island, nothing ever happened there. There was never any TV show that came. It was never featured in anything. There were some, I think, Farley Brothers movies that they showed like 95 cutting through Providence. Nothing happens there. So I can imagine we're thinking this is October. It's off season. The probability of this restaurant being filled with locals is high, except for the guy we meet at the bar in a minute. So this is a very big deal. So especially for locals, I can't imagine Even myself, seeing Sonia Morgan walk through like Thames Street in Newport seems very odd to me. But
Yes.
That's just how off the grid it is. But apparently it's a big deal. There's a huge douchebag sitting at the bar. And Ramona, her opening line is, "I think you forgot your pants." Should I try this? I mean, I have no luck as it is. I'm thinking I should try it.
Oh, God. She has no game.
Ramona is like basically despondent at this point. Tinsley's trying to get her to sit. They are so digmatized by this man. Luann, Sonia, Ramona hanging on this bar, hanging on this man who's engaged, who is no prize whatsoever.
Yes. And I found the disregard for that engagement to be kind of disturbing, but also I see a lot of that just living where I do. Drunk people behaving badly, and that's exactly what it was. But we'll get to it. But I'm glad Leah and her sister stepped in. Good for them.
Yes, I like that they like tag team that as sister.
Yes.
Like they tried to like get rid of him. Dorinda though is in the background. She's talking to Elise. Again, Elise has to earn her daily rate. She's fully drunk, Dorinda. She's talking about black cards, an emphasis on sex, and then later she just straight up like pieces out and leaves. So like I don't know what's going on with her, but that was like the least of our problems. Oh, Leah and Sarah, they go up. I guess this guy's name is Cortland, and he gets up and moves away from them. And then he ends up leaving. They couldn't turn him off more, but apparently Sonia and Ramona were enough for him. I don't get it.
I think that Sonia and Ramona were just all over him. And he liked that. And Leah and her sister were clearly just trying to get away from him.
Right.
Or like get him to go away.
Yeah, they were goofing on him in front of him.
Yeah.
Ramona completely ignores Leah and her sister.
Which is so rude, but so on brand.
Rude. I mean, looking through them. I mean, like, they're all at a bar together, and she just looks through them. It's nuts. She said, this is Ramona, the last thing you should do is come up to me and chase a man away. Oh.
Oh, God.
Who are you again?
These women, I'm afraid for my future looking at them. I'm like, I can't do that.
And chasing who away? None of again, like that's the prize. As Leah said, this man, this like complete douchebag is the prize.
Also engaged.
Yeah. Well, Ramona looks like a total hypocrite. Tinsley is upset because this is why Ramona looks like a hypocrite, because Tinsley says that she's really upset that the dinner is not being respected. Now, we had to hear the night before how, she almost said Ramona was a composer, a music composer when she puts together a dinner. Everything has to be completely in sync. And so now Tinsley has every right to be pissed that nobody's taking this dinner she planned, which I don't know what she did other than pick up the phone, or ask a producer to make a reservation for 8. I don't know what the difference is.
I know. Poor Tins. I have a soft spot for her for some reason.
Yeah, me too. I don't dislike her. I almost will be happy for her when she can get away from these women.
I know. I want her to have her baby and whatever she wants.
There's a Ramona breakdown similar to the season premiere this year where she's like, I don't know what was going on. She's like grabbing the corn and putting it over her face. Sonia's playing with the gourds on her ears. Then Ramona calls Sarah a demon. And
they were so mean to the
Sonia
sister.
calls her weird. Look at her over there. She's a weirdo. Like, horrible behavior. Like, I'd say this is worse behavior than Leah's behavior the night before.
Totally. Because they're literally just bullying someone.
And they're sitting across from the sister who can't really hear them and just pointing and laughing at this girl who doesn't even know them.
Yeah.
She never did anything to them.
Yeah, and then we'll get into when they're in the car and Sonia says that Leah's reckless and you just don't know because she's been arrested. And Sonia, so have you.
Oh, They all have been. This is so stupid. Luann cancels the dinner but stays for Tinsley, Sarah, and Leah to leave. And then Leah throws the ravioli, which was a little disappointing for me. I wanted to see that be like a little bit bigger than it was. But like Ramona didn't flinch. No reaction. Like, what an idiot.
I don't think she even noticed.
I was like, what? I just love that she did it, that Leah just went for it.
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes you need a ravioli in the face. And
yeah, Ramona needs to be brought down a peg. And if she's so worried about her image in Newport, well, then that ravioli really brought her down. You know?
Yeah.
If anybody even noticed other than you and me and the people listening to the show. You know, I mean, but apparently it's such a big deal. So, you know, that was the big cardinal sin, that and the tattoos that, you know, Leah could ever do is throw food, which is so stupid. Ramona then turns and says, well, I'm planning a birthday party full of 60 girlfriends. It's like, what is this show? What is going on here?
She loves to mention the fact that she has 60 friends who she invites to that party. She mentions it every season. Every single season.
We'll see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
If we're lucky.
Then, I don't know if you learned anything in this episode, Catherine, but apparently being disappointed is worse than anger because it just is.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but.
As I don't know. I think, I can't relate to that. I think there's a difference between drama and anger, and I've talked about this. But disappointment is another thing. I don't think you can compare the two. I think disappointment can lead to anger, but I don't know. I mean, people have acts of passion coming out of anger. I don't know so much about disappointment. You know? I mean, I'll yell at someone if I'm disappointed at them. I mean, I put my whole family on blast. I was very disappointed in them, and I was a little angry. But anger, I think, would lead to like bigger things. But that's me.
I think both of those emotions can kind of converge. But with Ramona, it was Ramona who said that, right, about Leah?
Yes. And
it's just at this point, like. Just shut up. You don't even know the girl's name. If Leah was off the show next season, Ramona would not remember her.
No. And I don't know what the hell Luann is doing at all this, lighting the corn on fire. She's lighting literally like dried out corn husks, which are highly flammable, inside of a restaurant. She says, oh, because of the energy. What? I mean, how are these women not thrown out?
And that's where I was like, these women are so freaking reckless.
Not only that, they're in a historic restaurant. If that goes up, it's done. Like, it's done. Like, it's probably, maybe I'd say over 150 years old, that building. Could be, maybe not, but most of Newport is.
Yeah, and I can proudly say, on my worst night, I have never acted like them on their regular night.
It's
and not that
words.
I'm great, to be honest, but you don't set. What was she burning sage? You don't set a fire in a public restaurant in a historic district.
It had nothing to do with energy. I don't know what she's doing. Meanwhile, outside, the behavior continues because Tinsley and Leah make out and fall inside of a bush. So, I mean, they really showed Rhode Island a good time that night.
Yeah, I don't know if Newport is probably regretting that. They're like, was this supposed to be good for tourism?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I mean, the only thing that looked good was the Castle Hill Inn. That was about it. And I'm sure that's so expensive to stay at because there's only so many boutique places there. So I'm sure it's top dollar. Meanwhile, 9 a.m. the next day, everybody's sober. They're up. They're cooking. Sonia has a tag hanging out from her soon-to-be returned jeans. Sarah is annoyed though. She's upset, but she's upset that she couldn't relax on the trip. I mean, they have to realize that when there are cameras there, they're
audience.
Working. Yeah, and when the cameras are there, you're working.
Yeah, know your audience, Sarah.
Yeah. Again, though, these women, they They have a tremendous bounce back. 9 a.m. They're all up, dressed, showered, cooking, like nothing ever happened. Dorinda,
It's really unbelievable how they bounce back.
it really is.
I would have had to sleep until like 1 p.m.
None of these women are in their 30s. Maybe Leah is, but like the others who go so hard, like they're not even in their 40s. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how are you doing this?
And they get drunk. Like every single episode. They are not, even like all Housewives franchises, they drink and stuff, but like the New York women get like effed up every single episode.
They really
We see
do.
them like that.
I'm just looking up. Leah McSweeney is 37 years old. So,
But still, like I'm in my 20s and I cannot do that. I
No.
would be feeling it the next morning.
by the way, YouTube, excuse me, not YouTube, Google refers to her as Leah McSweeney, other name, Leah Millionaire. What? I don't know where that comes from, but
Oh God.
weird. What else happened? So Dorinda is judging Leah. She's lost. Dorinda, again, I think everybody could say that you're a little lost right now. I mean, who makes these women such judges and juries and like, oh.
Yeah, I think the corn maze was kind of a metaphor for all of these women.
Right.
They have no
Good point.
idea where they're going and they're drunk in the process.
They're literally running around in circles.
Yes.
Luann is extremely offended that Leah would throw a ravioli. And this just went too far. This was the thing. This was after all, pulling down trow in the corn maze, screaming at the winery, running around, no top on, throwing fire, tiki torches. But no, the ravioli was really the moment that just went too far. It was like a nothing moment. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Also, the flashback. I love the editor work when they flash back to Luann's discrepancies, for lack of a better term.
I know the hypocrisy is just, I get why Leah is over there being like, what the hell? I had a bad night. These women are not exactly, sitting around reading books at a book club.
No.
I get why she's so pissed and feels so judged. I totally understand. What else happened? Sarah, she says that Sarah points out that they won't apologize because they're all passive aggressive. And then this next moment spoke to me on the deepest level when Leah says that, she's not passive aggressive. She's in your face and she's not going to be any other way. This is how she is. She's tired of being told it'd be easier if she was another way. This is just how she is. And I deal with this with work. I deal with this with family and personal relationships, friendships. I don't do passive aggressive stuff. I'm aggressive. You see me coming. This is just how I'm wired. This is how I write. This is how I email. I don't know what to tell you. It's not out of place of disrespect. It's just how I'm made up. You're not going to get super flowery language from me. I'm sorry. It's just not my way of doing things. And, I'm also not going to tell you to go F off. I'll use please and thank you, but I can totally relate to this conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing I think Leah is naturally very edgy. And I don't know what her relationship with alcohol is or anything. It's not my place to judge. But I think that I'd be pissed too if I was with these women and they were judging me for getting rowdy and maybe reckless. It's just totally unwarranted, especially given their behavior, which is documented on Hulu for years.
Yes. And every housewives Instagram page that there is, every meme.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Literally you can buy a t-shirt with Lou in the bushes. It's a thing. I totally get it. And, feeling judged sucks. And of course, not only that, but you're being judged on TV. They're taping scenes next door talking about you. So I get it. And I'm glad that her sister was there for her because nobody else was. Instead, they're all talking about her. Sonia and Ramona are totally embarrassed by Leah. Oh,
oh my God.
There's a certain demeanor and caliber way of acting. Act responsibly. Shut up. Oh.
Also, it's just so ridiculous. Like, never forget when Sonia, like, went and took out her beat up Mercedes in the Hamptons and got a DUI, probably from pre-gaming on the jitney, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So let's not judge each other, ladies.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the grammar of that sentence, and I'm not the best at this. I don't claim to be. I don't want to be a grammar Nazi, but if we're talking about a higher upper echelon way of living, saying there's a certain demeanor and caliber way of acting is
that
it doesn't translate.
I love that you're pointing that out, because when I heard that, I was like, that's just not right. Like, no. A caliber
way of acting.
That's not.
And a certain demeanor. I would say, I would say, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard and a higher caliber. That's the way that's the way to put it. I mean, let's
not use big words.
Yeah.
Ramona.
Yeah. Yeah.
We struggle enough with like kudos or kudos.
Right. Reggae.
Yeah.
Really.
Like, let's not break out the thesaurus.
Back in New York, Leah goes to lunch with her parents, and I tried to find out where this place was. It was called the Lighthouse Cafe. Are you familiar?
I am not. I actually also tried to figure it out.
There were 3 different places in Manhattan that were called this, and they were at 3 different parts of the island. And I was like, I don't know which one. I assumed it was probably the one on the Lower East Side, but who knows? She tells them that she blew off steam, and her mom's like, where? Like the gym? She's like, no, like at dinner. Like I was like screaming at dinner, throwing myself around at dinner. And like, well, did it get nasty? She's like, no. Well, yeah, I mean, I got nasty the next day. And I will say the mother was easy on Leah. She just said, it's a slippery slope. I don't like you drinking. The mother didn't berate her. She didn't judge her harshly on camera. So that was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that scene. I think that's probably important for them to have.
Yeah, and it seemed like they had a traditional mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, and I do think Leah kind of seems, and her sister alluded to this in past episodes, where she's an oversharer with her mother. And it's like, maybe you don't have to tell her everything, which I think is interesting. Ramona even alluded to that too.
Is she's just hunting for validation from her mom?
Yes. And your mom is not going to validate your bad behavior. So maybe don't share it with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially if her mother has concerns around drinking. And she even mentioned the alcoholic gene, the alcoholic gene in the family that she mentioned, which, is a thing. At least I believe
definitely a thing.
So it's something just, it's her mom. She's concerned. She doesn't want to see her daughter spin out. Obviously, we all hear how on reality shows these women are fed alcohol. So the mother would be concerned. She's like, wait a minute, you haven't drank in 7 to 9 years. And now all of a sudden you're drinking the minute you start a reality show. Like, it does cause pause for concern.
Definitely. And I believe her mom is a therapist, so I'm sure she is
smart.
Extremely privy to these vulnerabilities and such. So
yeah, I like the mother. I think I would like to hang out with that mother. She seemed like very cool. Yeah. She seemed down to earth, educated. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I like Bunny. That's her mom, right?
Yeah, Bunny, yeah. Now we have to go to another themed event. This is
this
Spill the Tea, Relax, Relate, Rest Tea Party with a bowl full of gummy bears. Did you notice that?
Yes, and I also just want to say, them trying to host a sober event when they all pre-gamed the shit out of it before. It's just funny. And don't try, ladies. We've passed the block.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. I'm questioning the venue for this. I mean, we mentioned in the previous episode when we talked about episode 9, can they not film anywhere in the city? Can they not go anywhere? Because where are they?
I truly wonder that because they have distinct locations in New York. They're allowed, I've mentioned to you, I love City Vineyard, which we'll go to when you're here. And they're clearly allowed to film there, but they literally spent 3 episodes in Ramona's house at the Hamptons. Like they are not allowed in New York, clearly, at most places.
Strange. Like I have friends that live in big buildings like that in New York, and like they have like, you know, like a game room or like a meeting room, or like, you know, there's like you can go out like and sit on a communal like terrace or whatever. There's like maybe a pool table and stuff like that. And it's like I don't know where they are. I guess like this is a room like you like book by the hour that the building offers.
It's sad. They're like booking the community room at their building.
It's very strange. And we were sold on it because Dorinda said she had an incredible view, which I never saw. Not once.
Yeah, I didn't see the view. That didn't take me away in the episode.
No. Ramona thinks this whole event, because it's elegant and classy, this is going to teach Leah a lesson in etiquette.
Oh, gosh.
That's the takeaway from Ramona. She's the one to teach that lesson, you know. None of them can. Leah apologizes to Ramona, but Ramona is very passive aggressive. She said, well, you know, you did disrupt the weekend and, now you're sorry for it. So that's good. You know, so she totally planted all that blame right on her, which was gross. Ramona then had to guilt her, saying that she couldn't sleep for 4 days. Proven.
Oh, God. She's bringing up the childhood thing again. Like, it's not resonating with me.
I couldn't sleep for 4 days. Did you know how ignorant that makes you look? That's like so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, like, if I were Leah, I'd be like, whoa, like, I really take up that much time in your head, in your life. You know, I mean, that was crazy. It was dumb state. I don't even believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, me either.
So we see flashbacks of all of them blacking out. Ramona, she wants to go forward. There's a very weird hug standing and then another hug seated, which never works. And Ramona, though, she says in her confessional, she's still very unhappy. This was not the apology she expected.
Oh, God.
This is what I mean when I said these people who expect apologies, and they never get them. I've never, when I wanted an apology from people close to me in my life, I never really got what I was seeking because it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's also, what do you want?
What do you want? That's a good point. Ramona should have been apologizing to her too, and this is, look, we both were slobs on this trip.
Yeah, and that's where Ramona, like the holier than thou, like, don't act like you are this pillar of manners when we have seen you act completely petulant.
In this very episode alone.
And then also over the years. So give your castmate a break, not defending her behavior, but come on.
When was this show about, like, again, like I said this 2 years ago, like, you do not support other women? That was like the thing. That was like the suddenly this barrier of entry that you have to support other women to be on the show. And now all of a sudden it's about, image and respect and, apologies, behavior. Oh, acceptable behavior only. When did it become about that?
Yeah, and also their behavior has never been acceptable.
Never.
Because, to be honest, being on a show like this isn't, like, in terms of viewing it from, like, the society lens that many of them yearn for, being on this show alone, as much as I love it, wouldn't be acceptable to begin with. Right. So let's not even go there,
I wish they held themselves to a higher standard caliber.
Like, come on.
Because, I don't enjoy, like, the toilet stuff. We've already had to watch Sonia go to the bathroom twice on camera this season alone, and we're only 10 episodes in, and it's just like we should have to see that at all. So it's like, I do wish these women really were a little bit more respectable. I think I would enjoy the show a little bit more. I don't love all that stuff. I think it's so childish. It's just unnecessary. I would like to see higher standards of living.
Yeah, because even like I know that I might have seemed condescending when I mentioned the show being on like a Real Housewife show is risky. And like people married to people in certain careers and whatnot, like you could get fired from your job for acting, just being on the show itself, or you'd have to make a sacrifice.
Or your kids could be removed from specific schools that they go to because of the image.
Ramona.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that you can still do it in a way, and that's not the same as what we see on Real Houses of New York, which, by the way, so entertaining. But even the blue humor, like the bathroom talk that you just referenced, like it is completely unhinged the way that these women behave, a la Cartagena, where Luann left a little present on the bed. Can you imagine acting like that?
So that's the thing. I mean, reflecting on this cast, none of them holds that standard in which they believe they live by. You can't say one of them is like,
it's delusion.
Right. You can't say like, well, this one, like, Luann, she actually, really walks the walk. No, she can write the book, but it doesn't mean anything. No.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And that's why the judgment is so out of control this season. I don't understand why, again, we have to have this judgment-free zone that they claim they want to have. And then they're right there, looking down on each other, physically looking down on each other, judging. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Now, Tinsley, go ahead.
I truly think that this season of New York is the Chronicles of Delusion underwritten by too much alcohol.
I think that's a fair statement.
And it's very timely, given the world we live in 2020. But
yeah, it's a fair statement. Tinsley arrives late, and then we have to go back to this. What the hell? In the words of Bethany Frankel, what do you need to do this for? It's ridiculous. Dorinda goes in immediately. She pulls her to a side. She accuses Tinsley of being in Niagara Falls. It was one of those, like, were you in Bass Lake moments? It was like, were you in Niagara Falls with Scott? You were there, and I know it, and I have a photo of it, and you better tell them or I will. And it's like, whoa, like so aggressive. It's none
that
of
bothered
business. Me. Ugh, gross. Back to Dorinda being gross.
It seemed a little threatening, to be honest. Don't intimidate people like that.
Yeah, what the hell does Sonia care if Tinsley was in Niagara Falls for a night with Scott? That's not breaking news. This is not, it's about Tom Part 2. Yeah,
no, and stop trying to make it happen, Dorinda. Like, let Tins be Tins. We already saw her freeze her dead dog. We've gotten enough from her.
Dorinda goes as far as calling her incredibly deceptive. I mean, that's a little harsh. Come on.
And I also think Tinsley was honest. She was like, I want to get back together with this guy. So she's being honest.
Yeah, well, Dorinda announces at the table that Tinsley has something to tell them, but then she doesn't let Tinsley say it. She just says, yeah, she's with Scott. Tinsley, she's with Scott again. She was with him. And basically Tinsley's like, you know what? Yeah, I want to be with them. That's it. And
yeah,
at least she finally said it.
Yeah, I thought it was mean of Dorinda.
It was like, please, Dorinda, don't go back to this. This storyline has made you look so unfavorable.
I know. And this was at the sober tea party.
Yeah, we don't need you to do this. Nobody's asking for this. I don't really think anyone's that concerned about Tinsley and Scott.
No. And everyone, Tins is Tins, she's given us enough. I think that she has been honest, as I said before. I think that she loves this guy and he doesn't want to be on camera and she wants to get back with him. I mean, hell, she said, I dated a guy in Chicago so I could run the risk of running into him. So I think that she's been as honest as she knows to be. I think there's a lot of projection and dysfunction going on just and hypocrisy, as we said, like in this entire season. It's like underwritten by that.
It is, because they end the show and everyone's like, Tinsley, like, if you want to be with Scott, just go for it. Put your toothbrush in his bathroom, put your clothes in his drawer, bring your panties, like,
Oh God,
like,
so old fashioned.
I know. They're like encouraging it after all the talk they did against her being on and off with him, Dorinda being this ringleader of this anti-storyline, which is nothing. Now, all of a sudden, it's the best thing that Tinsley could do. Is go for it. Where was this support in the past? All you did was rip her apart for it. If you're that supportive of it, what difference does it make if she went to Niagara Falls with him?
Yeah. No, I know. I totally agree.
Anyway, this has been our RHONY rundown. I'm still enjoying this season. It's still enough for me. But again, New York City, where are you? I'd like to see some action in the city.
Yes. And I'll promise you, as Grant, you are a New York City lover. The city is waiting for you when you get here.
Oh,
whenever you do, again, to visit. And it's here, even if it's not on Real Housewives of New York, ironically.
Well, I just worry that I keep wondering if I have to wait for them to rebuild the city.
It's everything. We're tough. Everything is going to be okay.
God bless. Truly. I mean, it's been incredible. For those listening, I mean, Catherine and I have been going back and forth quite a bit because we're both in these two major cities. And I think she's had to deal with a lot more than I have, but it's been insanity. So I'm just like,
yeah.
I would love to get to the city, but I just don't know when it's appropriate.
Yeah, I think, Grant, you have seen, I think we both saw the same in terms of just general unrest that was due to years of like complete injustice. It also happened amid a global pandemic that hit both of our cities very hard. And I think I'll speak for myself and say I love New York so much, and it was sad to see, but I also think, like, seeing LA, just from what I've read, I think we're all going to come back better than ever, and we just have to keep seeking these shows for a source of levity.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, one thing I will say, as inconvenient as it was for me personally, and as upsetting it was for me personally, it's not about me. I think it's all worth it if we can get some change out of this. I
totally agree.
I'm talking about my personal experience. I can't speak to the people who their life's work was in their shops and the shops are now destroyed. I mean, I don't know if that is all worth it for those people. I can't speak to that. But from my own experience, it's all worth it if something good can come out of this. Please.
I totally agree. And as you said, like, we've been going back and forth, and I think I had an emotional day yesterday, just realizing, because I think I was so caught up in just those days of being kind of consumed by the environment and what was happening and the fear, which I will own that I think a lot of people were rightfully afraid, just due to unrest that was happening. But I now recognize that it's going to be worth it if it results in change, and we will rebuild. Like New York, LA, we are tough cities, and everything is going to be okay, but it won't be okay until we like implement change for people who have faced this horrible injustice that I'll never understand as a privileged person. So
yep.
I am so glad to have you as a friend.
Oh, thanks. Same here with me. I mean, I know we're going through the same thing and we can relate, and it's just really nice to have someone that I know that isn't going to like judge me because I'm having a bad day or I'm overwhelmed. You know,
I'll never judge.
I get it, because we're living the same life, just 3,000 miles apart. So
yes, we are, and I'm here for you always.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks guys for listening. I appreciate you guys being patient. The main show will return coming up. I'm still working it all out. When the time is right, I'll be back. And I love you guys for listening. I'll be back soon. Be safe.
This has been Grant's Rant Small Talk. Real Housewives of New York City Rundown. Want more? Join the full conversation on Grant's Rant Hollywood Talk podcast.